Take one en dan stap op.
Action!
Use it or lose it. That was the best intro that we've ever had to Use It or Lose It. We're here at the Du Preez residence / mansion. And they've opened their house to us for Use It or Lose It. Beautiful setting. We've got the fire going. We've got some Red Bulls, some lovely red wine. And we're with Fourie Du Preez. Now, when we go back in history, well, how many years? 20 years back, the three of us have shared a lot of time on the rugby field. We've had some great successes on the rugby field, and Fourie has beaten Schalk and myself a lot. The same happened today on the golf course. Welcome, Fourie.
John, thank you very much. It's great having you guys here. It's been a long history with us three since 2002, and it's always nice meeting you guys. But it's great having a Red Bull and a beer with you guys.
My favorite about today is, like, obviously we lost again, and then he said, "Look, listen here, this is just like the career. Like, that's just how it used to go between the Bulls and the Stormers." That like hurt it a little bit, but then where we got it wrong is we played the game, and then Fourie actually forgot that John stroked. And I shook hands 3 times today.
Yeah, we shook hands 3 times.
We didn't lose. Had to shake hands. We lost, and then we lost again.
And what was the comment then, Fourie?
I said, it's Domi.
No, you said, okay, yeah, we shook hands 3 times today, and we won 3 Super Rugbies.
And 3 Currie Cups.
Sorry. Fourie, before we get before, because we'll cover all the trophies that you won. You obviously had an incredible career. I think a career that a lot of people can only wish for, and we'll dig deeper into that. But give us a bit of background, what you're doing these days. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the people, I think we're up to about 38 people that watches our show. Okay, so for the 38 people watching, what are you up to these days?
If you've got 38, I'll ask my parents to watch it as well. So
Thank you.
We'll get to 40.
Well, your extended family might get up to 100.
Yeah, obviously part of a big family and lots of grandkids for my parents. Yeah, John, so after rugby, I took about a 3 or 4 months sort of sabbatical. And I went to Louis van der Walt, that's out at Atterbury, and he's been a business mentor of mine, and just sort of sat down and looked, what do you think I must do next? And he had a venture called Fletch Capital. That's a private equity company, and I was invested in it before that. And he said, look, maybe I must go there for 3 months and see how it goes. A guy by the name of Conrad Flushauer, that was an Investec private equity. He's sort of running the show there. And I was supposed to go for 3 months, sort of look it out, and I've been there ever since. It's been more than 5 years now. And it's been a fantastic learning experience for me, seeing different deals every day and seeing how proper guys do it. I told Conrad the other day, if those guys on the other side of the room came to speak to rugby players, we would have done 100 deals already. So it's been a massive learning curve for me, but it's been really great for me.
And the family, Fourie, happy to be back in South Africa. Obviously, we'll cover the time that you guys spent in Japan and all of that. But happy to be home. Happy to have your kids back in Pretoria.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. I've got a nice balanced life. It's great to drop the kids off at school sometimes, to get them at school, to watch my kids play sport. So family very happy in Pretoria, and just happy with everyone around in Pretoria. And just enjoying sort of a balanced life.
And golf, obviously, is still a big part of you. I mean, I remember we were youngsters, we were playing golf together. You're always a decent golfer, but I mean, today we're on fire.
Yeah.
Golf was...
Yeah.
Shot a 71.
Yeah. It's my original local course, so I had a bit of home course advantage. Yeah, Scala, no, it's obviously when I talk about a balanced life, golf is part of it. So it's... obviously not allowed to play weekends. Not allowed to play weekends
So
with
you
the
play
family
Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
unless we're on holiday. My son enjoys golf. He plays pretty well. he beats me most of the time, but I think that's going to stop now. So obviously great to play golf with friends, maybe once a week or every now and then. It's fantastic, like today, to be able to play on a Monday afternoon. The 18 holes was fantastic.
And no guilt feelings playing on a Monday afternoon. I absolutely loved it. I think I should make it an institution every week.
Isn't it a Saturday today?
Oh, might
You
be
sure?
Saturday. You never know.
Sure. Sure, it's Monday. Let's get into the run.
Did you also pack your golf clubs in the car last night and not this morning? Because I was on a work trip.
Of course, I'm on a work trip as well. My wife
I
doesn't
snuck
know.
it in the car.
Luckily, my wife doesn't watch Use the Loser. She's not part of the 38, so she'll never know. Fourie, let's go immediately into the rugby career. So you decided to move here. What area is this? Waterkloof.
Waterkloof Ridge.
Waterkloof Ridge. Did you decide to move here to be close to Loftus so that you can, still be close to your second home?
About it, yeah.
Not allowed to move too far away.
No, it's pretty nice to. It's obviously very fortunate to sit here and I can see Loftus and I can see Affies, the school I went to, and even University of Pretoria. Yeah. So it's just by chance, but it's very fortunate.
And Fourie, like it all started here in Pretoria for you, but the Blue Bulls has always been part of your family and your life as well, eh? A lot of people might not know, but your dad also represented them and played for the Bulls for quite a while, right?
Yeah, he was the eighth man. He was a loose forward.
Yeah, he was the eighth man. He played from 62 until 72. Was fortunate enough to won 2 Currie Cups as well. I obviously grew up in a rugby family. I wanted to when I started playing rugby, I wanted to play 8 because my dad played 8. So my first 3 years, I imagine myself a pretty tough 8 man. But
Fourie, we played with you a lot.
And then
tough is not one of the words that comes to mind when I think of you. In that sense, you know what I mean.
I think all of us are tough. Obviously, you've got to be tough. But I cannot see Fourie at 8th man cleaning rucks for a living. Yeah. I mean, that's not part of your makeup.
Then 2 things happened. I obviously wasn't that big anymore, and I think I got pretty smart not to go into. Yeah, so sitting here today, not having a neck operation like Schalk.
I wish I was a little bit smaller, nimbler, but unfortunately I wasn't. John's bigger than me now. I mean, you can come back as a loose forward, surely, man.
Yes,
those knees will do well there.
No, that'll go well. But remember when we prepped for 2007 World Cup, and the most of the
down in Cape Town,
we were about 14 guys or 15 guys that stayed behind, and the rest of the team went to.
We were training at Bishops.
Yeah, training at Bishops.
Yeah, and we were actually 20 guys, and we had to stop the driving balls.
And the backs had to stop the driving balls.
Rusty was charged. He was in charge of the week.
That was the closest you and I got to playing in the front.
And never again.
In the pack.
Yeah. Never again.
Yeah. And then, Fourie, so the decision to play rugby, you played golf from a young age. You were good at that. Any other sports that you were pretty good at, or was it always you knew rugby was the way you wanted to go?
I wanted to do athletics, but I wasn't quick enough. Played a bit of cricket. Technique wasn't good enough. Played golf, but at those days we weren't really allowed on the golf course, so only we were allowed on holidays. Yeah, but I think as most South Africans growing up, you wanted to become a Springbok, or you just want to play rugby, and obviously your dream would be to become a Springbok. So I just loved the game, worked really hard at it. I was dropped most of my career until 2006 basically. So it was hard work, but I just loved the game.
So our group got together quite young actually. So in 2002, we won a under 21 World Cup. Me and you were on the bench. John was on the wing.
Yes.
On the left or right wing? Your best
right
position,
wing,
by the way.
Right
With you, right wing.
Right wing.
He was on the right wing. And we
Thanks
managed
for all the compliments, guys.
we managed to win the World Cup under Jake White, which I still believe was basically, sort of for our group, created the belief that, we're good enough to go further. But before that, there was training camps. And we had this one ridiculous night here at Boston Tea Party. What was it called?
Yeah, what
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Boston
What?
barbecue.
Boston
Boston
barbecue.
barbecue. And I still think back now, like that's where our relationship was forged. It wasn't forged on the rugby field because we used to lose against you most days.
Yeah, it was actually the day after the last trials
Yes.
before the team was announced. It was us three, Swai Swart and I think JP.
JP.
Yeah, it was just after spending so much time together, pre-camp and trials, and it was quite tough. We talked about it today. Staying at Esalen Park, gymming at 6 in the morning and having to play trials for afternoon. The other guys didn't do what we did, and then obviously what was so nice after that night, the other four of us got into the team. Schalky didn't, and then there was an injury and he came into the team. So it was just fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, he didn't make the initial team in 2002, but then played in a World Cup a year later. How crazy is that? And you remember the two of us, we went to the trials, or not trials, the pre-camp for that 03 World Cup.
Yeah, I was there for 2 days.
Yeah, you and me.
My worst 2 days ever at the Springboks.
I remember I don't know if this is a blessing, but I got called up and I was so excited and I walked in straight into you two guys as you guys were leaving camp.
Yeah.
So and you guys were just shaking your heads and I was like, oh, what have I got into?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. We were actually. It was a blessing in disguise for us, for myself actually, not to go to that World Cup. And I remember playing a few weeks later against you, with the Stormers with Province, and you guys. I think it's the only time you beat us, but you gave us 40 or 50 points.
Down in Cape Town.
Yeah.
John scored a hat trick, didn't he?
No, 2 tries.
Well, I think he was man of the match, where he was just unbelievable. And then, and obviously we won the Currie Cup, and it was a great experience for me as a youngster, rather going through that Currie Cup and not being part of that sort of World Cup team.
No,
you were there, so obviously you made it.
Yeah, I had to survive Stalrad first. Which,
like I said, you're a
Fourie,
little bit tougher than me.
I would have loved to see you actually in a full-on fist fight against the opposite number. You and yours.
But it's actually very relevant because
You would have killed me.
because Fourie, now we know that you haven't watched the show before, and it really hurt us when you said that. Okay, but we actually have people that watches the show because it goes out every 2 weeks, and you can subscribe on YouTube for it as well.
Thank you.
And what we want to do, we want to tell all the people that's watching to subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and Instagram us as well. Whatever you do on Instagram.
I'm not a social media
I
person.
know, but that's why I'm talking to camera.
Can you send me the clips?
And there's a WhatsApp number as well. Here's our WhatsApp number, and this is actually what I want to get to, where fans can send in videos asking our guests a question, and I will get to that because it's fan favorite brought to you by Vodacom #1. So Fira, if you can just have a look at just click on that video over there.
This guy's a tight budget.
You play him?
Hallo julle. Dan het ek 'n vraag vir Fourie Du Preez. As jy teen Derek Hougaard moes geboks het, dink jy sou hom gebliksem het? Dankie. Dan.
So you were talking about boxing.
Yeah.
Derek Hougaard just had his first his second after Stalrad.
Yeah.
So if you,
His first one was against Brayton Paulser, by the way.
Yeah.
So you
Second
played
one, Francois van Cook.
you played again with Derek a lot. So if you in a boxing ring,
If I had to box against him today, I think he would have knocked me out first, second.
yeah,
Just because he was training for his
Yes.
Francois fight.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a tongue-in-cheek question. Don't
Yeah,
answer
100%,
tongue-in-cheek question.
100%.
But knowing you probably would have won. Scala, how about we do those quick fire questions now, just to get into
We've got
the mind of Fourie Du Preez.
yeah,
Whom they say-
we've got quick fire questions. Predominantly, I hope from people watching our show. The first question is from Meyer. And there's two components to this question. The first one, the toughest opponent you've played against?
Yeah, Crusaders away, not a.
And an individual?
As a 9, you never play a one-on-one. Obviously, Mike Phillips, a 9, was quite tough. A little bit irritating.
Yeah.
Don't tell Buckies, but yeah, that was quite tough.
And I think you answered this earlier, but maybe you wanted to play for a different union in South Africa. So the question was, if there's any other union you would have played for in South Africa, is there one?
I don't think there's one.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't think I would have played anywhere else. Would you play anywhere else? You nearly went to the Sharks. Kevin Pat took you around the helicopter, around the Sharka.
Had a very nice chopper fly, and then I said no.
That's the difference between you and me. Your favourite stadium in the world?
I would say we won the World Cup in France. France was just fantastic.
Jeez, we had awesome memories there, hey?
Yeah, we'll get to the World Cup now.
Yeah. Can you remember the date you made your South African debut?
No, it was against Ireland in Bloemfontein, 2004.
So it would have been.
I remember a lot of things
June.
about it, but
Would have been June. Oof, I mean,
played in white jerseys. Yeah, just
talking about training camps, those Bloemfontein training camps, they were horrible, eh?
Yeah, they were.
They were shocking. Favorite game for the Boks?
36-0 England, probably.
Man of the match? Of course. Favorite game for the Bulls?
Favorite game for the Bulls? Which game were you man of the match?
There's too many. But to be honest, my favorite game was the 09 Super Rugby final.
Yeah, that was a special one.
That was amazing.
Valent was actually man of the match.
I was at Jacques Fouille's wedding.
Yeah.
On the day of the final, actually. He booked it and he knew he wasn't going to be there. He was playing for the Lions,
Yes,
and then
for
he
Lions,
invited all his Stormers mates.
So we had Morsi on the show 2 episodes ago. So he said beforehand he knew he was getting married, so he knew he was playing for the Lions, so he could choose the date of the final for his wedding because he knew that they won't play. And he knew that the Stormers would play, so he could go.
Best try you've scored?
One I enjoyed the most was probably the 15 World Cup against Wales. Yeah. Well, what probably wasn't my best try, but the one I enjoyed the most.
Yeah, and the significance as well.
Massive significance.
Yeah.
If we would have won the next week, it would have been fantastic.
Still in that camp.
Geez, we came so close. People forget. Okay, we can talk about that another time. One thing you would change from your career, if you can? Up and under? Is there up and under that rings bell? No? I mean, I've sat round the campfire where you and Jan Roots basically blame each other, but I mean, maybe?
Yeah, obviously that wasn't a great moment. We learned so much from it after that game. Yeah, I think the Bulls sort of took it to the next level. My own game as well, and I think I learned a lot about it.
Yeah.
But it was obviously wasn't fun. It doesn't get brought up that much when I'm around. I think with Johan a little bit more because he retired in 07. But yeah, that's just one of those things, and it's
you kind of had time to rectify, one mistake, or that might have been seen as a mistake, and you had time after that to.
Yeah, obviously it was a massive mistake. It basically cost us the Currie Cup, and we had such an amazing team, and we were dominating sort of a rugby scene in SA for previous 2 years as well. But I sort of felt the team and myself and Johan got together after that. In 06, we had an unbelievable good Super Rugby season, made the semi-finals. That guys drew against the Cheetahs in the Currie Cup final as well. And then obviously winning in 07. I think that was, you would have asked us, would you lose a 5 final and win Super Rugby, which you guys know it's at that stage was almost impossible for South African team to win it.
And Will, I mean, I suppose when you look back on your career and you hear so many guys, we've got some comments of Aaron Smith and Will Genia and these world-class scrum-halves, mentioning you as probably the, one of the best, if not the best nines to have played the game. Do you look back sometimes and do you think you, from a much younger age, you thought about the game differently, you approached it differently, or was it just something you evolved into?
I think it's a bit of two things. I had to work very hard to get where I were. At school, I was dropped on a 14D at Affies. I didn't make Craven weeks 9. I didn't make SA schools matric. So I always thought I had to work really hard to sort of get to where I wanted to go. And obviously, I thought a lot about the game, and my goal was just always to be the best that I could be, wherever that would take me. And so I was very fortunate in that I was part of 2 eras where we sort of started at the bottom with you guys at the Springboks and at the Bulls. So it could have been I could have been 5 to 10 years older, and I would have had to compete against US when he was in his prime, and probably a lot of guys were unfortunate to be in that position. And I was just so lucky. His last year was my second year, so I could learn a little bit from him. And I could sort of take over there. So I was, and even at the Springboks, his last game was a 3 World Cup final, and I could 04. I was just turned 22, so I was pretty young. So I was fortunate enough in that area. So you have to work hard, but things have to go your way as well. So I was fortunate in that areas.
No, because I also want to get to, and I was joking earlier, we actually do have quite a few people that do follow the show. And amazingly, we've got people from India, England, Australia, New Zealand, all over the world. And this one is quite an interesting one because it's fan favorite number 2, brought to you by Vodacom from Austria. And relevant to the question that I asked just now.
How's it, guys? I've got a question for Fourie Du Preez. This is, I'm Chris. I'm staying in Austria at the moment, immigrated there. And I've taken up rugby over here. So I'm playing 7s and 15s, which is quite fun in Austria. Because I've got a bit of a bang from yesterday's tournament. My question to Fourie Du Preez is, how did you analyze opposition? How do you spot the weaknesses? And which factors do you take into account? I find analyzing opposition becomes quite interesting. Yeah.
Is it something you spent a lot of time on?
I think for me, it was just getting a feel. So obviously, Super Rugby, I watch all of the games, and you get a feel of what teams do wherever. Obviously, in Test Rugby, sort of what teams are all about. So you sort of get a feeling of how a team plays and what things they do in different areas of the field. You get a sense of where their strengths and the weaknesses are, and then I'll just have a look at the last 2 or 3 weeks. Whatever they did, and see is there 1 or 2 things that you can target. But personally, I think teams do too much overanalyzing it. They'll see a weakness for one game, and then I said let's sort of target that area, but it wasn't a trend from the opposing team. So obviously that team also did the analysis and they fixed their mistake, and then you try and target the same area, and they just fixed it the previous week.
Yeah.
But on the other side, if you see, let's take the try against Wales in the 15 World Cup, we just sort of during that week saw look, their 9 is going over because they're so scared of our 8-9 on the right hand side. Let's put Dwayne on the winger. We're going to get quick ball over the advantage line. So obviously that pass wasn't planned. But you just sort of see, look, it's an easy thing to spot.
Yeah.
And on the field, you can adjust.
And more just awareness,
100%.
Awareness of if the opportunity arises, to be
so
able
you must have a sort of an idea of what the team does. Are they sort of a kicking team? Where do they kick? What's their strength with mauls and sort of their default plays with the forwards?
But it never really, you do, analysis on a team and the way they defend, it never really changes your structure ever. you still got to get your stuff right. It maybe affects your option you're playing. So Fourie would play a shorter option rather than against Wales, especially. We sort of, their line speed was quite difficult to play around. We couldn't really. So you got to play through them. So that makes a big effect on Fourie's first choice as an option.
100%.
Now, question to both of you. Obviously, playing in South Africa most of your rugby, then making the decision to go to Japan to play there. How did that change your way of thinking about rugby and the way that you approach the game? It's kind of the off the field stuff and also the on the field and playing the game differently. Because both of you, I mean, you love the time there.
Yeah, I mean, massively. I mean, I absolutely loved Japan. I think it was the favorite part of my career. I was there for 2 seasons. Fourie was there for way longer. But everything, for me, it felt like although you train very hard, but it felt like holiday and I'm playing rugby. You move away from South Africa. Rugby is such a big part, and you're getting recognized everywhere, and it follows you home. In Cape Town, you can't, you fill up your car without the guy filling up your car giving you some nonsense about the weekend. And on top of that, we had a lot of family time. You split in South Africa between friends, family, and sponsors' commitments. Over there, it was just us. And thankfully, the Du Preez, and we went to training together. We came back and we had beers together. That's pretty much what we did for 2 seasons while I was there. And then, unfortunately, when I was there wasn't a lot of success. But Fourie, before that, had massive success in Japan.
Yeah, I was very fortunate going to a great club, Suntory. I was there for 5 seasons, originally only for 2, and I thought that it's only going to be 2, and then I'm going to retire. And I ended up for 5. With the help of Schalk being there the last 2. It just changed the way I looked at life, looked at rugby. On the field, what I realized is I was training so much harder there, but I had so much more time, family time, and it didn't make sense to me. In South Africa, I would go to Loftus 8 in the morning, go home at 5. But I was in so much better shape in Japan, trained so much harder, but I had so much more time. And I realized I think we're doing it wrong in South Africa. I think there's time for guys to study. I think the unions must make it easier. I think there's time for family. So there should be so much more time for the guys to get more balance in their life. It's not all about rugby. And it's just an unbelievable experience living in Tokyo and spending time there. It's just fantastic.
And then, I mean, to throw it completely around, 2019 when we lost against Japan, 2015 when we lost against Japan in Brighton, the core of that side was, Suntory players, the players we were playing with. And, Eddie Jones set out stall beforehand and saying, 4 years' time, we're going to beat the Springboks. So that was their goal. And one thing you learn about the Japanese is how committed they are, both physically and mentally. And, they work so hard for that World Cup game. Yes, we didn't have the perfect preparation. And I think me and Fourie highlighted a few things, in the week before to Heineke. And they managed to cause the greatest upset back then of World Cup history. Obviously, 2019 World Cup showed that they're a serious rugby nation. So, so many times I left to Japan to play there, people were going like, "Well, are you just bullying kids? Are you picking them up and running up?" I said, "No, it doesn't work that way. It's a completely different game. It moves. It's got speed, and the players of quality." The one thing that stood out for me is you come from South Africa, and I probably would have been one of the forwards with the best skill sets. You get there, and the skill sets are amazing. The emphasis is different to what we've got in South Africa.
And for the Japanese culture, just something that you took to immediately and enjoyed?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And there's such humility over there, but it's people that they've got a whole samurai culture where you have to try and be better every day. It doesn't matter whatever job you do. You'll see the guy that's mopping the floor in the apartments, and he'll do it the best he can, and he's got pride. And you'll see the guys at rugby, they won't go home before the coach goes home. They try and do extras. They always trying to be better. And it's just a fantastic place to be in. It was just great, and such experience for me and my family.
And to go back to Japan for the 2019 World Cup, did you feel a kind of a sense of pride going back, having played there so long? seeing South Africa win, but also feeling that you kind of added to that whole experience in putting Japan on the map? From a rugby player.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. Obviously, Japan was fantastic in that World Cup, and it was watching them beat all those teams. Obviously, beating us in a 15. We always said they're gonna have an upset against a few teams. I never knew it was gonna be us, but yeah, obviously beating Ireland, which was the #1 ranked team going into the World Cup. I think in 15 we were the 6th ranked team. So obviously that wasn't that big of an upset.
Yeah, the Irish upset was way bigger
Yeah,
ratings-wise.
yeah. And then I was when we left Japan in beginning of 16, I told my boy we'll go back in 4 years' time. Obviously I knew it was going to be the World Cup, so I could drive him in that. So just fantastic going with him, and we watched the first game against New Zealand. And then I was fortunate enough to go with a few friends watching the Japan game against the Springboks. It was just such a special moment for me, being there, just in that country with all those fans and everyone, and just so great watching the Springboks at the end winning the World Cup.
I've got to tell a story of our last year there. So we didn't make the playoffs in the top league, but then went to the Japan Cup. Now, the Japan Cup's almost like the FA Cup of football, where you get some university teams, second division teams, top league sides, and we all play together. And then normally, if you get to the semi-final, is that right, of the top league, you basically only fall in at the quarterfinal. So we obviously didn't make those. So we were playing all these games. So every week we had a farewell dinner. And we ended up having 12 of these farewell dinners on a Wednesday night. And you can just imagine, I mean, Fourie is very quiet and unassuming as he's here. But on a Wednesday farewell dinner, him basically saying, I'm leaving Japan. It goes
12 weeks in a row.
12 weeks in a row.
It's like the golf today, shaking hands.
Perfect prep. And then we made it till we played in the final, but like we got to the quarterfinal, I pulled a calf, possibly because the Wednesday I probably drank too much. Fourie said he's never done a soft tissue muscle. How do you pull a calf? Very next week, hamstring. Boom. So then obviously we had a farewell week because both of us were injured and we had to go watch our team play in the finals. So
Speed, pace.
I must be honest, Schalk's memory is terrible.
Please do
what happened?
enlighten us.
Please enlighten us.
Because we were only there for 12 weeks post the World Cup, so I don't know how we played 12 sort
Maybe
of
it was
FA
the
Cup
first year
games,
then.
but
It was one of them.
Yeah.
no,
Nothing
Schalk's,
to do with the beer, Schalk.
yeah,
No, sorry.
yeah, no. So
Could have had the
the
years on.
last game of the season, which was probably, I think, it's a playoff game between 7 and 8, and first minute I scored a nice try, and 5 minutes later I was going for another try and I pulled my hammy, and that was my last time ever on a
That was
rugby
it.
field. So that was the end of the season.
Yeah, but there must have been a farewell dinner somewhere.
It's a bit scary.
There was a
that
farewell dinner after that. Jeez.
It's a bit scary that it always ends like that, eh? Play rugby, get injured, then you
Guys,
retire.
I retired when I went to kick a soccer ball after training, and I pulled my hamstring straight off the bone.
Or don't play soccer.
No, no.
There's another fan favorite, number 3.
Hi, Jean and Schalk. Just maybe a quick question for Fourie Du Preez. I just want to know, Fourie, what was the most intense moment you've ever had on a rugby field in your career? Thanks for your program. Enjoy it very much. Bye-bye.
Most intense moment.
Yeah, I think most intense was when I was running there at Newlands and I was looking at a little cross kick. And next moment I was on the ground. That was quite intense, and I've told Schalk this, but I honestly, when I hit the ground, I said, yes, but Dwayne hit me hard now.
And then it was Schalk.
And it was Schalk.
But it's funny you should mention that, Fourie, because if you look at fan favorite video number 4,
I've seen it many times.
I don't like it so that I can see. It was a great tackle from Matt Pierce.
Yeah.
But Fourie,
It's very
dear.
funny because you showed me today previously those 2 videos against the Lions.
yeah,
After that massive hit,
you also,
I sort of got up immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realized it.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, no, it was obviously. I'm so happy for Schalk that. Then after that game, whenever I went to Newlands, there's that big photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, yes, it's unbelievable that the best moment of Western Province for the last 10 years was that tackle. They lost, and we won the Currie Cup the next week.
We lost with a Morne Stein kid.
Yeah.
Jeez, guys, there's so many, like over the years, there have been so many bulls I wanted to tackle like that, and it never happened. And then the one time it does happen, it's your mate. It's an absolute man. I wasn't even there. I was in the backfield watching the box kick, and then they started running and they were chasing the game. And then I thought he was going to kick it, so I can just basically run past him and giving him a little ankle tap. And then he sort of did that. And then it was just, I had to make it count.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Schalk.
But Fourie,
Thank
so you won 3 Currie Cups, 3 Super Rugbies, 3 Japan Cups, or what do you call it? Or 2?
Well, yeah, 2 Japan Cups and 2 top leagues.
Sorry, so 2 and 2.
South African Rugby Player of the Year twice.
Rugby Player of the Year twice. Should have been World Player of the Year
In
2009.
09. How did you not get that one?
Yeah,
How
let's
did
not
you
talk
not get
about
that
that.
one? We can't go there.
Under 21 World Cup in 02 and the Senior World Cup in 2007. So I think you had a pretty spectacular career, okay?
Thank you, John.
But with the fans, as you know, with fans, they only harp on one thing. So we have to play these videos because we asked them to send it in, okay?
Please do.
But it's 5 videos, all with the same question for fan favorite number 5. So start with this one. But I mean, you got to watch it. I don't want
Hi,
you to
my name
watch
is
it,
George
you have to
Hughes,
watch it.
and I want to say thank you to Jean and Schalk for your program. Really enjoying it. Now, I don't really have a question, but I want to ask the comment and the reaction of Fourie Du Preez on that tackle where Schalk smacked into you. And oh my goodness, what a great tackle.
Fantastic.
You lost the ball.
Okay.
You stood up
Next one.
a little bit.
Hallo julle, dis Gerdouan hier uit die Kaap uit. Vir Fourie het ek 'n vraag.
Ja.
Daai infamous tackle deur Oskala op Fourie op Nieuweland.
This has been set up.
Wat kan julle onthou van dit? Hoe was dit? En as 'n WP ondersteuner was dit het ek lekker gekry, maar ek is seker julle op die veld was dit nie so lekker nie, maar ek seker julle kon lekker lag en chat na die tyd. Hoor graag van julle en julle is
Hello, Schalk and Jean. Also, hello, Fourie. Fourie is probably one of the biggest Stormers fans to ever walk in Cape Town. I would like to know what went through your mind. Currie Cup game, 2009, Blue Bulls vs Western Province. Schalk Burger is coming out of nowhere and tackling you right to the ground. Please tell me. I've always wanted to know. Thanks, guys.
Fourie, you were famously classified as one of the best readers of the game. But I guess there's one misread where Schalk flatlined you from behind.
Môre manne, dit is Jaco hier van Vredendal. Ek wil net vir Fourie Du Preez sê baie dankie vir al die jare wat jy vir ons vir die Springbokke so mooi uitgehelp het. En dan wil ek net weet, nou wat hulle vir Nieuweland demolish, ek wil net weet of jy nou al jou ribbes opgetel het, wat Schalk Burger vir jou afgetekkel het. Dat weet daar vir ons asseblief, dankie.
That's it. That's enough.
You know, like, you play against each other, and obviously that tackle makes the story.
Yes.
But then afterwards, you're obviously your best mate. So we were across to your changing room having a lager, and then Matthew Pearce, who was commentating on the game, he couldn't believe, he was like this is what rugby is about.
Exactly.
And then that's where Fourie made the comment. He said he couldn't believe it was me. He thought it was cheapest. Dwayne Vermeulen just smashed me.
Yeah.
Was it the biggest tackle you ever had?
Probably.
I wouldn't have gotten up. I would have broken everything. Okay, Fourie, we
nee, jy is net uit mekaar uitgeval.
Ja, ek weet.
Die porseleinman.
Yeah. Fourie, so we're getting towards the end, okay?
Fantastic.
Okay, so and we finish it with a thing that we call bad jokes.
Say again?
It's called bad jokes.
You're talking about yourself now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give you 5 bad jokes, and the idea is try not to laugh. Okay.
Okay.
But because it's a competition, so it's you against Schalk. Okay?
Okay.
5 questions, and then the one that doesn't laugh, he gets a point. But if no one laughs, then you spoil the show. Okay?
Then John loses. Yeah.
Okay, but try not to. So 5. Okay, there's one. Here's one. My first joke. I'm gonna tell the viewer it's a bit edgy. Okay, so please do excuse me if I offend anyone. But I need to start on a high. Okay, so I've just found out my granddad is addicted to Viagra. Nobody is taking it harder than my grandmother.
I don't quite know where to stand with that one.
Can my kids go to bed now?
You got free drinking wine. You'll head the next one.
Maybe we'll edit it out.
Okay, it's one for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I told the crew that if Schalk does not laugh at that, I'm cutting it forever. We should just stop the show right there. Okay. 1-0. Nee, jy kry 10. 10-0. My wife's mad at me because she said I never buy her flowers. I honestly didn't even know she sold flowers. Nee, okay. Okay. Klein Fourie het gelag. Okay, 3 more. Another wife joke. And thank you very much to your wife, Janay, for putting up a beautiful spread for us and everything. She's the best. My wife and I share the same sense of humor. We have to. She doesn't have one. Okay, mooi, jullie doen goed. Well, okay. 2 more.
Luckily, your wife doesn't watch the show.
Yeah. Like, it seems like all of our friends. No one watches it. Okay, what's the score? 1-1. You got that one. 2 left.
Sounds like a Stormers ref.
I can't find my Gone in 60 Seconds DVD. It was here a minute ago. 60 Gone in 60 Seconds?
You don't have to explain it. We got it. We got it. It's just bad.
And Fourie, this is why it's called Bad Jokes. Okay, the last one. And it very much feels like the Bad Jokes. So I named my phone Titanic. Now, whenever I use Bluetooth, it says that Titanic is sinking.
It's that.
Thanks, Fourie.
Thanks, John.
Fourie.
You won. No, Schalk, you won.
Did I win?
You won Bad Jokes.
I thought I was 10 points behind. I won.
Schalk won. Just because it's Fourie, you won. Thanks to all the supporters that sent in videos and questions for Fourie. Fourie actually chose a winner who will be winning a brand new Springbok shirt sponsored by DHL. So please do send in those questions for the next episode. And it will be signed by Fourie, Schalk, and myself. And the winner for today's best question goes to Nikita. Your jersey will be delivered to you by DHL. So for all the other supporters, please do send in those questions. Unfortunately, can't ask Fourie anything anymore.
Fourie, thanks for everything over the years. Good friendship.
Yes.
Also, just celebrating a most successful career. I mean, it was amazing. And thanks for the golf today. We, again, weren't good enough, me and John.
Yeah.
But thank you for opening a wonderful home. Thank you for hosting us here. And obviously, post this, we'll have a few good old drinks like in the old day. And thank you very much for your friendship.
Thank you, Scholar. Thank you, John. And obviously spending all those years with you guys. With our wives, we've known each other since, in 2002. Shelley was still at school.
Yes.
You. Okay.
One of those bad jokes.
Yeah, nah, but obviously it's appreciate your friendship and everything you guys done for me, and to be part of teams with you guys in was just special all the time.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Fourie.
Fourie.
Yeah, thanks for the friendship off the field. We had some amazing times on the field playing together. We had some awful times playing against you, but you remain a fantastic guy. And
I just remembered we lost by 74 points once.
yeah,
74.
what was it?
75-14.
75-14. Cheers, guys. See you for episode 5.
Cheers, guys.
Lose it
Yeah,
or lose it.
that's it's gone. See you next episode.
Cool.